This is Tata Motors' new Altroz Racer, a variant that wants to add a layer of fun to the Altroz's already strong sensibilities of space, comfort and safety. And on paper, Tata Motors seems to have stuck to the recipe. Make it look sportier, give it a more powerful engine, and there are some go faster stripes too. So what does this recipe translate to out on the road? Well, let's dive straight into it. Now, around the 4-year mark, you expect a manufacturer to give their vehicle a comprehensive facelift at the least. In the Racer's case, that's not happened. This is very much based on the existing Altroz with a little bit of cosmetic tinkering. You'll notice that the bonnet is black, the roof gets the blacked out treatment, you've got some sporty side skirts going on, and at the rear, there are some interesting changes as well. Over to the rear, you'll notice that the Racer now sports a nice chunky spoiler, and if you peek under the rear bumper, you've got a set of twin exhaust tips as well. Now, I'd have liked those exhaust tips to be poking right out of the bumper, and while I'm on the subject of what I'd have liked to see on the Altroz Racer, number one on that list are a larger set of alloy wheels. Tata Motors is using the existing set, albeit in a dark finish, but yeah, 17s on this would have looked really nice. Also, there are a few bits on the Racer that seem like an afterthought to me. Those stripes, that badging, not really a fan. And on our test car, the execution of the two-tone color treatment, that's not up to the mark either. Oh, just in case you aren't a fan of the way the Racer looks, you will be able to buy this new uprated I-turbo engine with the regular Altroz sooner or later. On the inside, it's familiar territory yet again, but Tata Motors has tried to give the Racer a personality of its own with a few orange accents. Actually, not a few, quite a few orange accents. You'll notice them around the AC vents, around the gear lever. In fact, even the stitching on the seats is orange. The upholstery, leatherette in the Racer, and I like these little 3 stripes that are on the seat and that extend straight into the floor mat. Neat attention to detail going on there. From a feature standpoint, Tata Motors has packed the Altroz with a little more, and these features are not just exclusive to the Racer, they have trickled down into the other variants of the Altroz as well. So highlights include this new 10.25-inch screen, it gets wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, but I wish the bezels were a little smaller, or Tata could have given us the 12.3-inch screen from the Nexon EV. There is another display in the instrument cluster, which is quite nice in terms of graphics and response. Other additions, well, there is a 360-degree camera now, great resolution, it works as a lane change monitor as well. You get the feed right here on the screen, really crisp resolution, lag-free, I really quite like it. You now get a sunroof as well, and front seats have ventilation also. So from a feature standpoint, on the whole, the Altroz isn't really going to leave you wanting for more from a car that costs as much. And because this is an Altroz, practicality is sorted, rear seat space is ample, and there's more than enough boot space as well.
And yes, it's an Altroz, so it's big on safety too. 6 airbags are offered as standard along with all the electric nannies you'd expect. Oddly enough, a tire pressure monitoring system is missing. Anywho, now on to the all-important question. How does it drive?
Now the big question is, does the Altroz Racer feel fun and exciting to drive? Or at least as fun as the numbers suggest? See, this car's got the same 1.2-litre turbocharged engine that Tata offers in the Nexon. In fact, it's got the same 6-speed manual gearbox as well. 120 horsepower, 170 Nm manual. It sounds like a recipe that is a lot of fun. Sadly, in the real world, it isn't particularly mind-blowing in terms of acceleration. In fact, Tata themselves claim a rather modest 11.3 seconds to the 100. Now, I think this car shouldn't have been called the Altroz Racer. If this was called the Altroz GT, Yeah, that would set expectations right from the word go. Because this car genuinely makes for a really good touring car. It's got a lot of torque that's spread wide across the rev band. That means you can maintain 100, 120 on the highway all day long. Even attempting overtakes at those speeds doesn't really feel like too much of a stress or stretch for the engine. So if the regular Altroz petrol felt a little lackluster and down on power, especially for your highway sprints, this one should do just fine. And even if you want to drive it inside the city, it's not really much of a hassle. Tata's moved to a hydraulic clutch for it. It's light, but it bites in really early. That is something you'll have to take care of. Gear shifts are light, they're smooth, but they could have been a little smoother. And while we're talking about the gearbox, I wish this shift knob was designed better and it looked a little more sporty. Of course, for city driving, you might wonder, hey, where's the automatic? Now, this engine is paired with a dual clutch automatic in the Nexon, so it is technically possible. It is something Tata Motors is evaluating, and I think it is a matter of time before we get this turbo engine in the Altroz with a dual clutch automatic. And I think that will kind of round off the Altroz package really well. Talking about the ride and handling, not much has changed from the standard Altroz, and that is just to say that the Altroz's base already was very strong. Now we went out for a few laps at this new Coast racetrack that's in Coimbatore, and Naren Karthikeyan himself told us that he's worked with Tata Motors on fine-tuning the damping on the car and the steering calibration. Now, is it a night and day difference compared to the regular Altroz? I'd say no. It is not something that you'd pick up in a test drive or two either. But what I can confirm that even on a flowing racetrack, even when you're pushing it through corners, it feels stable, it feels composed, and it feels like something you'd want to push. Alright, let's wrap this video up then. With this uprated turbo petrol engine, the Altroz, the petrol Altroz in specific, feels a lot more complete. It's got ample power for the highway. It is easy to drive in the city. Yes, it's not as outright fun as the brochure might want you to think, but it is fun in its own little way, and for daily driving, I don't think you will have an issue at all. In terms of value, Tata's really gone to town adding features to the Altroz, and all of them have worked just fine, at least on a test car, at least today. To put it simply, if I were to recommend a petrol Altroz to someone, this would be it.